Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Ronnie de Souza Santos, and this is our paper, A Grounded Theory of Coordination in Remote First and Hybrid Software Teams, to be presented at ICSI 2022. This is a collaboration between myself and Dr. Paul Ralph. As we all know, in 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic pushed software professionals to work from home. Was a very unusual and difficult situation for software engineers because at that point many of them didn't have any preparedness. They didn't have any structure to work from home. This is the context of our research, especially when these professionals had to face several challenges while trying to keep together as a team. In the beginning, what we understand is that this situation was difficult and abnormal for most of software professionals. However, these professionals grow used to flexibility and to all the benefits that this flexibility brings to them as individuals. However, this flexibility was also affecting the team dynamics and the team structure. This is a challenge for software industry right now, especially because many companies had to now cope with the desires of software professionals and keep working in remote and hybrid teams. In this context, we raised the following research question. How has working from home during the COVID-19 pandemic affected software professionals and software teams? We expect that this research can bring light into many challenges that software industry might be facing right now after this period when the pandemic is about to end. There was no better way to investigate this phenomenon than diving into the reality of software professionals that were working from home during the pandemic. This is why we choose to use a grounded theory uh, to answer our research question. Grounded theory, it's a family of research methods based on several rounds of data collection and data analysis at the same time for inductively generating a theory. We apply these methods following mostly the guidelines of Glaser, where we start by collecting data from multiple sources of information. We start to form concepts from that data and group these concepts into categories that can be explained or explain what we were observing and collecting from participants. We identify relationships between these categories, and at the end, we build these links among all of the categories till we finally identify a core category. So this is mainly the process that we use in this study. We selected a well-established software company with over 1,000 employees, which over 70% of these employees work directly into software development activities, which means that they are software professionals like programmers, software testers, designers, or work with the requirements or management. This company has over 50 projects running at the same time. These projects belong to external clients, which means that each project it's like a completely different world because it represents the reality of a very specific company. These projects are from companies both within the same country of the company that we investigated the phenomenon and also from large and international software companies. There are a variety of software development methods that are run within this company because, as I said, every project represent one particular scenario. So we have both agile and traditional software development methods and a combination of these methods. So we have pretty much a variety of information to collect from this company. We use this company because our proximity with this company in having data collected from people and document analysis and um, several other informations that we needed to develop our theory. And because the first author of this paper was working in this company at the time when the pandemic hit the country, so we could experience all of the process from starting at the office and moving from the first weeks working from home and then having to establish working from home, a place to work from home, and how the teams have to behave while they were facing all of this process. So as you can see in this slide, we have a timeline that represents the beginning of the pandemic when it hits the company in early March 2020, and following all of the process of sending professionals to work from home, updates about the first weeks in working from home, having all of the professionals already spread across the country, and also the period of data collection within the teams working every day in a remote situation. Grounded theory is a method that allows researchers to collect data from a wide variety of sources. So it's a really rich method. As we followed the guidelines of Glaser, and Glaser states that everything is data. So what you observe, what you hear, what you collect, everything is data and everything can be used towards the development of your theory. In here in this study, we collected data mostly from four specific sources. From observation, we have two themes being closely observed during over 1 week, which means that all of their activities, all of their events and ceremonies like dailies and retrospectives and planning were being closely observed to collect data regarding this process and the situation of developing software in hybrid teams and in working from home. We also have data collected from asynchronous ways, like emails or messages that were posted on the company channels. We also had data collected asynchronously because in several discussions that happened both in the teams and across the whole organization, we were being part of it. We were observing and listening and taking notes about that. And we also had data collected from interviews where we selected some participants of different types in different living situations, different home working configurations to collect data about the experience and about the process of developing software during this period. So these are our four main data collection sources. As for data analysis, we started analyzing data by the field notes, where we have all of the information that we collected from observations and from participating in during the dailies and retrospectives, plannings, and etc. We also had some information collected from interactions and channels. As you can see here, we had to convert some information such as emoticons into some kind of note that represent the the perspective or the attitude of professionals towards some kind of information. We had data collected from interview, as we can see in here. This data it represents in vivo quotes that we extracted from the interviews. These interviews, this data that was extracted from the interviews were put together to generate categories and to link these categories. And at the end, when we have our core category emerging, we use mostly the data from retrospectives to really make sure that that was the core category. That was the thing that was coming out from our data and that hold all the other categories together. This was software team coordination. This is the main theme or the main topic that was around the whole process of working from home during the period of the pandemic. So this is the main result of our investigation. This is our theory. We observed that software team coordination is the main factor that it's felt by software teams, by software professionals when working from home. This is one aspect of the work that can create several problems for software development. So this is something that needs a special attention from software industry right now. We observed that increasing group cohesion and promoting effective communication are two particular ways to increase software team coordination. These are the protective factors that we observed from the field. And we also could observe some risk factors that undermine software team coordination. They are distrust, which happens when professionals don't trust in their colleagues' work, parenting, when parenting activities and at home can create some kind of problems for those working in remote environments. And we also observe communication bricolage, which happens when some professionals create bubbles of knowledge, uh, and that knowledge won't break that bubble to the whole team. For example, if a particular group of developers, programmers, they are focused on one particular feature in the project. And in order to discuss any aspects of this feature, instead of bringing the subject to the whole team, they start to talk about it in a very specific particular group with, let's say, two people, and that information it's not transmitted to the rest of the team. So then we have communication bricolage, then we have misunderstanding about what people are doing and how that feature is being developed. This is actually one of the problems that we observed here that is caused by the negative effects in software team coordination, which means that if risk factors, if they are somehow more powerful than the protective factors in a software project, so software team coordination will be negatively affected and some problems are going to be triggered. One of them are misunderstanding, especially regarding requirements, features, and what the team is expected to do. Other one is the increased help for requests, which in some point that it stops being something healthy of knowledge exchange and it starts to being something that creates a conflict among the professionals. We have dissatisfaction, and in this context we observe that some professionals, they felt like they were working too much because they were in a remote work. Some professionals felt that they need to work more, that they need to produce more workload and stuff in order to cope with the remote hybrid context. And we also observed another project that we called ill-defined tasks, which represents when software professionals, they can't see the beginning, the middle, and the end of their activity. They lost this perception, and for them the activities, they are kind of messy or not well defined. These problems will trigger some consequences that need to be carefully addressed in order to avoid bigger problems. There are method engineering. We observed an increased need to change processes and practices during this period, especially because to fix the problems in software team coordination, in the way how the team coordinates and how they understand everything in the project. And we also observed some aspects of software project success in a way that problems were caused. We didn't observe anything related, for instance, with the quality of the project, but we did observe delays in the deliveries. We observed professionals being less satisfied about the project, and all of these they can be seen as aspects of a not successful project. So this is our theory, and everything that you can see in here floats around software team coordination. This is the thing that we believe that software industry needs to be targeting right now in order to promote environments that are more healthy and for professionals and for the project, especially in this new normal where remote work and hybrid work are more expected from software professionals. We believe that our theory can support software industry right now in the new scenario in the world post-pandemic, especially because hybrid teams and remote work tend to be more common. Professionals, software professionals, they are claiming for it. And if software companies don't find a way to increase the opportunities in this type of work arrangement, they might lose talents in their companies for turnover to work in other places that offer these opportunities for them. So we believe that our theory can be used to guide and understand practitioners in several managerial aspects of software team coordination. We have here some recommendations that we could observe that we could trigger from the field. One of them is related to improve communication to cope with remote and hybrid teams. We know that one of the aspects of agile software development is simple communication, but simple communication when you are working in an office, it's very different from simple communication when you're working sometimes in the office, sometimes at home, or completely at home. So we need to come out with solutions and ways to improve this communication. For instance, one way that we can observe in here is to promote strategies to keep everybody in sync regarding decisions, regarding the knowledge, and regarding the situation on how the project is going. So synchronous communication is important, but asynchronous communication strategies are as important as synchronous communication, especially because professionals will now work in different times, sometimes in different ways. Some people had these different aspects of their life, and they need these communications to be mechanisms to be improved to cope with that. The second one is to increase team engagement to support cohesion. Uh, to keep the thing together, working as a team and not just as a group of people, it's very important right now. As we could see in the previous slide, team cohesion is something that is very important. It's a protective factor for team coordination. This is why we need practices. This is why we need to develop ways to support software team members to make them feel like they are part of the team. Especially right now, where many professionals are being hired and are starting the work in the project without knowing who was in the project. So what can we do regarding that? What can we do in order to increase team engagement? Another thing that we have here is to create strategies to support parents. Right now, in this new scenario, we observed that many professionals have acquired opportunities that they are not willing to lose. For instance, to spend more time with the family, to spend quality time, the well-being and everything that was acquired during this period. So software industry needs to create strategies to support these people, especially parents. So increasing flexibility of work towards, for instance, communication mechanisms to keep parents updated and not forced to be in every single meeting or in every single decision process. It's crucial right now. So this is what we have here, and this is what we expect. This is what professionals are expecting right now. Not only those that are parents, but those that work with people that are parents. And we also have one last recommendation This is related to the preparedness for method engineering. One thing that we learned from this period of pandemic was that we need to increase preparedness. We need to be ready for crisis. And in software projects, right now, in this new normal, this means that all the engineering process and practices that we have right now that are running successfully and that it's been good for the team might not be the same in 1 week or 1 month or so. So we have to have plans. We have to have plans even for those practices that are being good. And we have to have the team prepared to accept these changes because this is a period of change. Okay, this is our main implications and recommendations. This is it. I covered all of the aspects of our theory and our paper. Both Dr. Paul Ralph and myself will be happy to take your questions and comments. Please let us know what you think. Give us your feedback. Send us your question. We'll be happy to discuss about this topic at any time. Thank you very much.